Okay, we are here to talk about the new June 1st, 2020 changes to MTG Standard and Historic, and also the new companion rule. I started this video already and just had to restart because I was signed into the wrong account and just a lot of shenanigans happened. So, let's just get right into it. Like, subscribe, comment. Any or all of those combinations really help me, not so much in terms of making money or anything, but just letting me know that you guys are enjoying the content, not enjoying the content, that it's reaching somebody, making a difference somewhere, whatever, what have you. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, any of those, super helpful. So let's get into it. The new companion rule: once per game, anytime you can cast a sorcery during your main phase when the stack is empty, you can pay 3 generic mana to put your companion from your sideboard into your hand. This is a special action, not an activated ability. Um, to be honest, at the end of the day, I think this is one of a handful of companion mechanic changes that are about on the same level as one another, because it's kind of like whatever minimal change you make, you're not sure if that's going to fix the issue. Um, this one's a little interesting slash weird because paying the 3 generic mana, it allows the deck to still function mostly at full capacity just by itself. Um, it's a strange one because, what I would have liked to have seen was you start with one less card in your hand, um, because it would screw with the mana base a little bit. It would hit the consistency of those companion decks, making the trade-off being you have this card that you can always play, but your mana base is messed up and it's less consistent. You're starting with one less card, and to see where that would go. That would have at least hit the decks across the board, I feel. This one's a little strange because, for example, paying 3 generic mana to put the companion from your extra deck or your sideboard into your hand kind of defeats the purpose of Amori. Amori says, choose a card type. Cards of the chosen type cast 1 less generic mana to spend. So it's like you're already in the whole 3 mana to save yourself 1 mana per spell on a creature that's probably not going to survive anyway. So it makes Umori very weak now. The rest of the companions, we'll just have to see what happens. Obosh, this is a good hit to Obosh. It slows down mono red Obosh, so they can't just play it turn 4 with the Banner of Courage or whatever it is called out there that gives creatures of the chosen color +1/+0. You can't just lay it out there turn 4 for lethal. You've got to take some mana, add it to your hand, and give your opponent a chance to do something about it before you can actually just slam it out there. So that's a good hit to that. Lurrus decks don't care about this change really in the least. Sure, it slows them down a little bit, but guess what? Lurrus decks are still a problem. If you notice, we'll get to it in a second. If you notice, standard, historic, Lurrus is still legal in both. That's a problem. Lurrus is the most broken companion in the entire companion list, and it honestly baffles me that Agent and Fires is here, but Lurrus isn't. It's like you killed Yorion decks for the most part by banning Agent and Fires, but so Yorion's, at least its power level is checked. Lurrus's power level is not checked nearly as much. Oh no, you have to pay 3 to add it to your hand. Oh my. It doesn't care. It still has the protection package. It still has Alset of Life's Bounty. It still has Call the Death Dweller. It still has Kaya's Ghost form, which says when this card dies or is put into exile, you can't even exile it and protect it. And then, of course, Lurrus just says, oh, did you get rid of me last turn and I came back? Looks like I can use the Kaya's Ghost form from my graveyard again. Oh, anyway. Will this fix Companion? I'm not sure. No one's sure, I think, really. So we'll just have to see what happens. Lurrus is still going to be the #1 most broken Companion. I don't care what change they would have made. With Lurrus not being banned, he's still going to be a problem. So that's my take on the new Companion rule. Standard. Agent of Treachery banned, Fires of Invention banned. Historic, same thing, but they're suspended. I want to talk initially on the Agent of Treachery getting banned / suspended. This is the one good thing that has come out of this list. There was another YouTuber that I was listening to, I forget who it was, but he was talking about how Agent of Treachery changes the way Magic is played, and that it's never really been played in that way, to where it becomes a game where, you know, there's a 1 in 3 chance maybe of running into a deck that's running Agent of Treachery, or even worse, chances-wise. There's nothing really worse than Agent of Treachery. But they're running a deck that consistently will... It should be... The way Magic's historically been played is it's board state against board state. You build up your board state and pit them against one another. And Agent of Treachery violates that because it takes whatever board you've been building up and changes the game completely. It changes the mechanics of the game completely. So I think that's a good thing that Agent is seeing the banhammer. That's the one good thing that this change has going for it. That's the only good thing, because let's go on over to Arena. Let's have a look at what didn't get hit. All right. Number one, yeah, we talked about companions and how Umori is kind of like the weakest one now because you have to pay 3 to add it to hand. Karuga's meh now. Like it'll see play in mono green. Garuda, you can't just go off immediately with Garuda, which is actually really nice because if you're going second against Garuda, it's like, well, I guess I just lost. Turn 2 they ramp, turn 3 they ramp again, turn 4 they play the Garuda. That's not quite the case now. It's you get an extra turn or so. So anyway, moving on. What didn't they ban? Lurrus. I don't know why Lurrus has not gotten banned. Lurrus is this is the worst part of the game right now is Lurrus. Not even Agent. Agent's nothing compared to Lurrus, because Lurrus also violates how Magic is played. I'm surprised. I hope he gets hit in Brawl, too, to be completely honest, because I was playing Brawl, and it dawned on me, I won the game, you know, I'm glad I did, but it dawned on me, Lurrus really violates Brawl as well, or just Singleton in general, because, you know, you can only use one card, and when it's gone, it's gone. But guess what? If Lurrus is out, Lurrus says, no, I'm going to keep bringing crap back. And it's the same it's the same kind of principle that gets violated in regular games of Magic, because they're able to continuously recur resources from their grave with Lurrus out. And like I said, Alcid of Life's Bounty, Kaya's Ghost Form, Call the Death Dweller, stuff like that, it makes Lurrus so resilient. I don't care if you get to... Yeah, it'll slow the deck down slightly, so maybe you have more of a chance of disrupting it, but let's be real. I don't think it's going to make one bit of difference. Until they actually ban Lurrus, it's not going to matter. Let's get on to what they didn't hit. Cat Oven. They didn't hit Cat Oven. You know what that means? That means that Cat Oven, Jund sacrificed Citadel bullshit is going to continue to exist for the next 4 or 5 months. This is the second deck behind Yori and Luca that's dominating the meta right now. It's not even fun to play. It's so thought intensive that it makes the game not worth playing. The payoff to effort is not there. Number one, number two, it's such a stupid deck to play against because its win condition is so... It's not narrow, but there's so much degenerate crap in the deck itself that makes it unappealing. If you open up Cat Oven, you're already ahead. If you open up... And that's only one of the combos you can open up with. You know, you open up Goose and Trail of Crumbs. Guess what? You have a turn 2, end of your opponent's turn, sack the mana from the Goose, search your deck for something. If you had Cat or Oven in hand and you go and try and find the other piece, then you get that piece going. You know, once you have Citadel out, you know, the deck main decks for Woe Striders for when you have Citadel out and you're trying to go off. Oh, is that a second land you have on top of your deck and you need it to go away? Sack a creature with Woe Strider and just get it going. It's going to be so frustrating to play against this deck, and I can't believe they're going to let Cat live. Like, no one wants to play with Cat Oven. Not even... Forget about Bolus's Citadel. No one wants to play against Cat Oven, or even with Cat Oven for that matter. No one wants to be restricted like that in deck building. Free it up so people can build what they want. But anyway, no one is going to want to have to play with Cat. This is Eldraine. When rotation happens, Eldraine sticks around. That means Cat Oven is going to be sticking around. I can't believe they let this live. Okay, mono red hits. Like I said before, I am glad that that mono red Obosh is slowed down slightly, so it's not quite as explosive. But it's still frustrating to be playing against, let's be real. Worst case, it'll push out the Obosh variant for just regular mono red we've had to deal with, which is Embercleave and Axe. And with Fervent Champion still here, I can't believe. I mean, I can believe Fervent Champion's still here. I can't believe the Cauldron's still here. I wish Fervent Champion wasn't, because getting double and triple Fervent Champion dropped on thanks to just BS RNG is so unbelievably frustrating. Again, in my previous video where I actually forgot to talk about Historic, which I will, this time around, should one of these three have gotten the Axe? Yeah, one of them should have. As far as which one goes, who the hell knows? But the fact that that didn't is frustrating, but there are more egregious offenses, alright? Growth Spile Wilderness, that's still around. Wilderness Reclamation, that'll be fun to deal with. Still. Can't believe they didn't hit Reclamation. I really can't. Like, they should just come out and say, hey, this deck isn't healthy. Let's not do this anymore. Fires. Fires in a vacuum is a good hit. Get rid of fires. That's fine. This is coming from someone who has fires in. This is coming from someone who has fires in a Yorion Luka deck. It's coming from someone who's played fires in some capacity for quite a while. Like, since it was in Eldraine, I committed to the Jeskai colors, and oof, like I'm saying, in a vacuum, fires is a good hit. What makes it a terrible hit is the fact that they hit nothing else. Because fires already puts Yorion in a bit of a checked state. Okay, especially with Agent of Treachery gone. But again, the fact that Lurrus is being allowed to live, that's not good. I feel like their priorities, I feel like they hit the biggest problematic card, which was Agent, and then Fires, which was like 2 or 3 or 4 cards below the #1 problem card. Let's talk about Winota. Okay, Winota in Standard, it can stick around without Agent. I think it's going to be a deck that's very well checked without Agent being able to be cheated in. That being said, I still think we'll see variants of it. I don't know. Is it going to be top tier? We'll have to see, but it's definitely not going to be quite as cancerous as when Agent was around. Honestly, I can't believe Winota didn't get banned in both Historic and Standard. Standard is a little more justified when you ban Agent. You know what's not justified? Not banning it in Historic. The fact that he is not banned in Historic means nothing. Because you know what people run in Winota? First of all, it's just Naya Winota in Historic. It's just red, white, green. But they run Fauna Shaman, and they run that 7-drop. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's the 7-drop that just says if it's a human, obviously, and it says if a permanent would deal damage to your opponent or creature. I forget how the wording is. Let's just look it up. Let's look up. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna go Historic. Only Historic sets. I know it's a mythic. I know I don't have it. It's gonna be red. Doot, doot, doot. That's strange. Am I going by it? No. Is it only rare? There's no way it's only rare. I know it's a 7+ cost. Okay, it is rare. Angrat's Marauders. If a source you control, deal double that damage set. You bring it out, you cheat it out with Winota, you're probably going to lose anyway, because number one, that's double the damage you were going to take anyways. Number two, Winota's probably hit itself or the hack dose, so that's an extra 8 or 12 damage on top of the 8 that's headed for their face right now. The fact that you can't just steal stuff from Winota swinging in doesn't matter. So historic is dead. It is not a format to be played unless you're playing mono red rush, gruul, aggro, or Winota. If you're not playing one of those 3 decks, that's it. There's no point in playing because those are the top decks that are going to be played. Oh, and mono white. Mono white, aggro, life gain, whatever you want to talk about, or whatever you want to call it. Those 4 decks, they're going to dominate the meta, and no other historic decks are going to be allowed to be played in any kind of, what's the word, competitive sense, because those 4 decks are just going to be dominating. Best case scenario, Winota dominates slightly less, but still, the mono red, mono white, and gruul decks are going to continue to be way too powerful for any mid-range or control decks to have any chance at surviving in the meta. And all of the other aggro decks aren't going to be able to hold a candle to those 2. Zenith Flare. I can't believe this didn't get banned. I talked about it in my prediction video. This card is the most degenerate card in the format. Forget about Agent of Treachery. Forget about Winota. Forget about Ember Cleaving and Annex. Forget about opening Double Fervent. Zenith Flare is so unbelievably fundamentally unfair because in 80% of its matchup, unless it gets countered or a graveyard gets exiled, which may or may not happen, and even if it does happen, there's still a chance you could come back from it, depending if you're playing the Zenith deck, depending on the deck that you're playing against. Zenith Flare just says, pay these 1-cost cycle abilities, adjust your board state depending on what you're playing, because you have 1-drops like the Fox, you have 2-drops like the Rescuer, which gives you chump blockers, you have the Healer and the Stinger, which deals damage or heals you for each card each time you cycle, and it says, at your earliest convenience, when it makes sense to and you have lethal, just play this card for 4 mana and hit your opponent for an undeserved amount of damage to their face, all because you just cycled through your deck. It's just cycle, 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 cycle. Not only does it violate the odds of you having your key combo piece card, because cycling just says, ditch this, draw, draw through your deck faster. Not only does it say, do that, not only does it violate that tenet, but it also says, you can have lethal extremely easily. So we're going to get to continue seeing this in Standard as just the random decks that you'll go up and lose to against in between fighting Jund Citadel. And it's going to be bad. It's going to be slightly less worse than it was before the list. Because, yeah, before the list there's Agent. But if you take, now that Agent and Fires is out, I don't know why they took out Fires, honestly. Like, there was no reason to take out Fires. Like, have you seen how many decks that are, you take out Agent, you kill the Yori and Luca deck, it's dead. Yori and Luca is dead if you ban Agent. If you ban Agent and not Fires, then people would just go back to the regular Jeskai Fires decks. I guess I can sort of, now that I'm talking it out loud, I guess I can sort of see why they banned Fires because of the way they went with the new companion mechanic. So, with the change they made with the new companion mechanic, that forced them to ban the Fires. Because if you have Fires played and you want to play Karuga, guess what? It's not a cost to pay 3 extra generic mana to put Karuga into your hand. It's just going to, because you'll have the mana for it because of Fires. But again, I don't know why like I said, the Fire's ban is purely because of the companion mechanic change they made. If they changed companion so that you started with one less card in your hand, Fires would not have been hit right there, because they would have Yori and Luka decks would have gone back to the standard Jeskai Fires build, which maybe could have kept up with other cancerous crap, but that's neither here nor there. Already talked about Citadel, already talked about Embercleaved, and Agent is banned. Let's discard. Let's talk about the banned cards that didn't get hit that I meant to talk about. Um, Chain Whirler. Chain Whirler is kind of here just as like it's a mono red aggro card where something in that deck needs to be hit. Uh, that's kind of whatever. Let's talk about the real problem cards that they did not hit. Soul Warden. I can't. Another card that I can't believe didn't get hit is Heliod. Heliod is so unbelievably broken in the mono white aggro. Like, you can't call it mono white aggro and life gain. They shouldn't exist in the same sentence. They really should not. Oh, I guess I have him. Oh, he's already here. Duh. It's so broken in the mono white deck. Like, if you can they run 4 copies of him and you play him on curve most of the time, and it's either Soul Warden or what is it, Healer's Hawk, followed by an Ajani's Pridemate or a Daxos, followed by a Heliod, or worst case scenario, the Linden Steadfast Queen that says it has vigilance, and whenever you attack, gain life for each attacking creature. Gain 1 life for each attacking creature, which is busted with Heliod. And it's such an insanely aggressive life gain deck that I can't believe they didn't bother to check its power level. Curious Obsession, you're welcome to disagree with me on this or not. I think Mono Blue is annoying as hell. Okay, you just put out a flyer and then give it Curious Obsession for 1 mana so you can just draw every turn to make sure you out-control me. It's irritating. It's much less of a problem than Mono White and Mono Red and Gruul and Winota. I'd say it's about on the level of post-ban list Winota in terms of being problematic. Shouldn't exist. Burning Tree Emissary. I can't believe they didn't hit this. I can't believe they didn't see Gruul getting played and go, well, this is a problem. Burning Tree Emissary is such a problem because it lets you dump out your aggression faster. Okay? Any control deck that might be able to deal with this, you've got the only 3-drop that's able to do really enough right now. I mean, you really have 2 main 3-drops. You've got Deafening Clarion and you've got Cry of the Cronarium. Cry of the Cronarium doesn't hit enough, honestly. With Mono White running around, it doesn't hit enough. Not even with Mono Red, because Mono Red you were going to die anyways. You just spent your 3rd turn paying all of your mana to exile 2, 3 of their creatures, but they've still got 3 damage, 1 cost burn spells in their hand. It wouldn't have helped you anyways. Burning Tree Emissary just says, let me dump out this deck's aggression faster. Let me help you get to Embercleave faster. And it's even played in Mono Red. It's even played in Mono Red to do the same exact thing, because it's hybrid mana. You can just pay 2 red, and you add a red and a green. And then you just play, Bone Crusher's Stomp, or you play Lightning Bolt, or Lightning Strike. The fact that Burning Tree is still here, I mean, great, we have another deck to play besides Mono White Life Gain, but that's all we're looking at for Historic. It's a rock, paper, scissors format. Maybe a 4th one, Foot or Cockroach or whatever the hell. I know it's a completely different game. I mean, it's the same game, but different 3-pronged meta. But that's what the meta is going to be for Historic right now. It's going to be Mono White Life Gain featuring Heliod. It's going to be Gruul Aggro. And it's going to be Mono Red Rush and what's left of Winota. Because Winota can still go Llanowar Elves, or what's the guy that'll still let you attack because he just puts a land on the battlefield? Geez, I can't. Arboreal Grazer. It's going to be you open Llanowar Elves or Arboreal Grazer, turn 2 you're going to drop just some 2-drop, or you're going to drop the Fauna Shaman that lets you search out the Winota, and you're still going to be able to play the Angrath's Marauders, and you're still going to be able to play the guy from Theros, what's his name, Hakdos. You're still going to be able to play, and the fact that you can't, that deck only ran 2 Agent of Treacheries anyway. The deck only ran 2 agents anyway, maybe 3, but even then that's kind of iffy to run. It got slowed down a little bit, but ooh, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. So unless you're running Mono Red Rush, Heliod Life Game Aggro, Gruul, or Winota, there's literally no point in playing Historic. And speaking of Historic, Fires was doing nothing in Historic. They're going to let Fires come back because there's no reason for it to have gotten banned. Yes, I admit, I enjoy playing Grixis Bolus. I'm not going to be able to Mastermind's Acquisition into a win condition anymore. Fine, whatever. That's not the issue, because even if I was able to, that deck, I was struggling so hard in Historic Rank to actually run that deck because of all the aggro that there is with the Gruul and the mono white. It was so bad. So it's like if Fires would have stuck around, it wouldn't have mattered. Truly. Like, Fires was a bigger problem in Standard than it was Historic. And the fact that they just kind of blanket threw it in the ban, I think the fact that Agent got banned in Historic as well was more of a coincidence. Like, they didn't want to bother really thinking about it. They're just like, okay, we'll just ban the same stuff in Historic. And it was an afterthought rather than, this card violates how Magic is really played, let's do something about it. Oh, man. So, enjoy Historic if you're playing Mono White Aggro, Mono Red Aggro, Gruul Aggro, or Winota. And if you're not playing any of those decks, don't even bother touching Historic. And as far as Standard goes, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens if... I'm not sure it's the right call to have made the companion change that they made. I think having to pay 3 to add it to your hand cripples some companions, you know, while leaving others to really not give a crap. We'll have to see. That's all I got. If you listen till the end, great. Thanks. Appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back here maybe with a, I don't know, Gruul deck profile for Historic, something. But all I gotta say is enjoy Standard while or not Standard, I guess Historic. Just enjoy the formats while they last right now, because it ain't gonna be good, especially Historic. It'll be at least better with Agent gone, because again, we can get back to playing actual Magic. But you gotta remember, with the list of changes that we got, you know what actual Magic still includes? It still includes this. It still includes this. It still includes this. It still includes this. And oof. You made an unfun game marginally less unfun. So thanks for that, Wizards. So enjoy 4 months of waiting until rotation, which will fix not really anything. Cycling is still going to exist. Bolus' Citadel is going to be gone, but Familiar's going to be sticking around. Reclamation will go. Cool. Winota will still be here bringing out whatever busted crap she can, but at least she won't be stealing your crap anymore. Alright, that's all I got. Thanks for listening.